Good morning. We are going to do two eyeglass cases, two different versions, and both of these are, I believe they're free patterns. I'll correct that in the description if that's not the case. But these are two free patterns for eyeglass cases that are quick sews, and they're very beginner friendly. So this first one is the Raccoon case. This is definitely a free pattern. I usually wrote that on there. But it has a zipper closure, which I personally like. I use this one actually for my personal use. So this is the first one we're going to make. And before we get started, I will go get mine and I'll show you how big it is and what it holds. This is the fabric. We just need one. Actually, we don't need the magnetic snap for that. We need one number 3 zipper pull. We need about a 25-inch length zipper tape. And then we need 2 pieces of fabric, which is in the pattern. It's not, again, it's not a big secret. But on mine, because the pattern has this actually pretty large, I cut on the bottom about an inch and a quarter off. Otherwise, it would just be too huge. So I'm using Cork for the outside today. And then I use cotton quilting fabric with some woven interfacing and a piece of fleece. So that's all you need. A lining piece, an outer piece, a piece of zipper tape, and a zipper pull, number 3. You could use number 5, but it's really not necessary. And then I'm going to put my ID tag here. Isn't this Cork gorgeous? Very pretty. All right, so let me get things ready and I'll go get mine as an example and I'll show you. Be right back. All right, so here is the one that I use every day. And this is outside is vinyl and the inside is just cotton quilting that I've interfaced with woven interfacing and a layer of fleece. But there are my sunglasses. And you can see that they really fit in there just nicely. I left a little extra room so they wouldn't be really snug. And I sometimes will put a glass cleaning cloth or some little wipes in there. And then you just zip that up, throw it in your purse, and you're good to go. So that's what we're making today. These go pretty quickly, but it's pretty ingenious how she just uses one side of the zipper tape. I love that. So you can make 2 at a time. All right, so I've already went ahead and put my, whoops, I just dropped a clip. My zipper teeth on the front of the outside of my fabric. And you want the outside of your fabric facing up and the zipper teeth facing down. So I'm seeing the wrong side of my zipper. And I'm going to just baste that in place. You could tape it with double-sided tape if you wanted to. But I'm just going to baste it in place. There we go. And I'll just use a 5 stitch length. And sometimes it's helpful to use your stiletto, especially around these curves. Not necessary, but certainly just hold it with your fingers. Just make sure your fingers stay out of the way of the needle and the presser foot. Just go slow around those curves. This is also, I'm using my industrial machine, but this is a very domestic friendly project. Domestic sewing machine. I'd say about cutting this out, sewing it up, even just the first time you're doing it, is probably a 30-minute project. 30, 45 minutes. Once you do it a couple times, it's maybe 20 minutes. So these make great little gifts. All right, so there we have the outside with our zipper tape. Now we're just going to put our lining right over that. And I will clip that all the way around. And then we are going to do our full seam allowance, which is about 1/4 of an inch, depending on your zipper foot and your machine. You just want to get fairly close to those zipper teeth, but not obviously so over them. Make sure your ends are even as you go around. I don't know if you're familiar with sewing with cork, but it is depending on the materials, other materials you use, cork is very domestic, machine friendly, but it is expensive. I will just be quite honest about that. All right, so now we are ready to do our full seam allowance. I don't know about you guys, but I always have to clean up my area. I can't sew in a mess. All right, so I'm gonna change my stitch length to a 4. Again, as you go around these curves, go slow because you want to make sure that you're not sewing over your zipper teeth, but you're getting good and close as well. Right. Cut your threads. And then you're going to want to either use pinking shears or just clip your corners. I think last time I used my pinking shears, so this time I'm just going to show you how I clip my corners. Since I have about a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm just doing 1/8 snips. You want to make sure that you do not snip through your threads. If you do, just like I said, everything's fixable. Just do another stitch over there in a little bit. All right, so there you have it. There's the, the front. And now we're going to just turn it right side out. I just love this cork fabric. I think I got this cork fabric from So Many Creations NY. NY, I believe she's from Buffalo, New York. She has a great selection of cork, and she ships very fast. I believe Jessica is her name. Okay, so you see what I did there? I got way too close to the teeth, so we're going to have to go back in there and fix that. Interesting. Okay. That happens. That's why when you do projects like this, as you go, kind of inspect things. Yeah, I did. I got way too close there. Easy fix. It was on the straightaway and I just went too fast. That's what happens. Okay. Not hard to fix. So I just ripped that out, and I'm just gonna re-sew over that. Go back far enough. Back stitch. Again, let's make sure we're not doing the same thing again. I guess it's always good that you show how to fix things when you're doing an instructional video, because stuff's going to happen when you're doing it. Okay, much better. All right, let's clean that up just at this, those extra threads that I pulled out. All right, I'll clean that up. Okay, so there you have it. Now, by clipping those corners, it just gives us some nice corners. And now we're going to top stitch all the way around. And I'm going to use a 5 stitch length for my top stitching. Back spacing. And make sure as you do this that the you've got your lining and your zipper tape pulled out. And go slow around those corners. Okay. So there you have it. You have your top stitching, and there's your lining. I'll have to clean that up just a hair. So now we want to pull this in and meet our ends there, and make sure I am going to cut my zipper tape so that it is equal. I'm just going to mark it with my pen. That way when I put my zipper pull on, I don't have to worry about it being uneven. Okay. Just going to burn my ends a hair there. All right, so now I have my number three zipper pull here, and I am going to get my wrong sides out so that when I put my zipper pull on, just like this, it will be on the outside. Put your zipper pull on any way you choose to, but you can see my zipper tape is even there. So I'm just going to pull that off and do a zip up. So that's what you have. Isn't that cute? Let me turn it right side out so you can see it. So that's what it looks like as of right now. Gorgeous cork. All right, so now we just need to finish the bottom. But you can see how that closes at the top with just one side of a zipper. Very, very interesting. All right, so keeping that zipper fairly intact, I'll probably just go about halfway here. We do need to turn it wrong side out again. So just make sure your zipper pull doesn't fall off or come off. Okay. So now I'm going to pull it up just a little, and we're going to fold it. This is the outside, the inside of the fabric, inside of the case. And some people will, I mean, I cut 1.25 inches off, and this is about the same. But if you have small glasses or you want to do it for a child, you certainly could do that. So there's my glasses, and I have about 1 inch on each end. We are going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. But that's how, and you can leave it the full length. You don't have to cut it off before you sew this. That way you can just really make sure it's the right length for you. But I think I'm right on track to have it exactly the same length. Yep. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is put a 1/4 inch seam here, and then we'll cut our excess zipper off. And I'll probably do, because I'm going to do a 3.5. You could do a 4, 3.5. Do some good back stitching. Okay, then I'll cut my excess zipper tape off. Now, I will tell you, you can leave that raw and just maybe do some pinking shears there. But I'll just tell you, I think it's a good idea to put a piece of non-fraying fabric there. If you watch my Jordan pouch, this is the same principle. So you can see that that's the raw edge. So I just had a extra little piece of waterproof canvas of this leopard print. So I'm just going to put this on the bottom, on the inside, and it's about 1 inch in width. And I'm just going to fold that over and clip that in place. Just something, a waterproof canvas is a good option here just because it's non-fraying. So you can see what I did there. I've got a bunch of extra here. And then I'm just going to stitch that in place. And then we're going to be done. Cut your threads. Cut your excess without being sure not to cut your zipper case. And then I will just do a little lighting of that, just to seal it, and any excess, make sure you catch it on both sides. And then we're done. We're just going to turn it right side out. This might have to be one of my, I might have to keep both of these. Push your corner out really good. Depending on the material you use, your corners might be a little snug there to turn and get poked out. There we go. And there you have it, all done. There's your eyeglass case. Cork on the outside, the lining on the inside. And you can see that waterproof canvas in there. So there's no raw edges. Let me put my sunglasses in here. There you go. All done. So cute. So maybe 30 minutes from beginning to end, cutting out your pieces and using the template. So let me just show you that real quick, that template. Your pieces to start with are just square, 9 inches by 8¼ inches. And then the pattern provides this template to round those tops, which is obviously this part. So you have one lining piece and one outer piece, and then you use the template for both. And then you just follow the directions in the pattern. Very, very cute and simple. All right, so let's do the other eyeglass case that's just a simple, completely different look. I'll get all that together and I'll be right back. All right, here is the second version of my eyeglass case. So it is not a free pattern. It is by Miss Freckles Design. It is the May Glasses Pouch. And I believe I got this on Etsy, but I'll put the link to the pattern in the description. For mine, I'm going to use a piece of Cork, all one fabric for the outside, and a piece of cotton quilting fabric with woven interfacing and a piece of fleece. And you'll notice the fleece I put outside my seam allowance. She does also give you the pattern pieces to do 2 different fabrics. So this one you can see is all one fabric, this yellow, and then this one is 2 different fabrics. So she gives you the pattern pieces to do that. And it's kind of nice. I've made that too as well. And then you just need a snap. And I have 2 pieces of Decaville Light, Decaville Heavy actually, to make sure that it's more secure. I did already go ahead and put my holes in, but I won't put these the snap in until I get it together. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly sew on my name logo at a 2.5 stitch length, and I will pull that to the back. So I'm just pulling my threads to the back and I'll tie those off. No back stitching. Leave yourself a good amount of thread to tie off. Hold on to them. And pull that one to the back. Get that loop going, and I'm just going to use my little stiletto. Then we'll tie that in a couple, 2 or 3 knots and burn that so it's polyester thread again, like I said previously. All right, so there's our logo. You don't have to put a logo on, but if you're going to, so this is how the glass case is going to look when it's done, kind of like this, and the logo is up on the back. All right, so now we are going to put right sides together and clip those. We are going to leave a turning hole in the bottom here. I personally like to leave a pretty good sized turning hole. I don't like to have to struggle. Some of these small things, you know, it sometimes can be hard to turn them, but and it really also depends on the fabric that you're using. This shouldn't be too bad, but there is some bulk because we added fusible fleece. And then I am going to just mark where I am going to leave the hole, just to remind myself not to stitch that. All right, so you can see where I clipped it, and then I left a place to turn it. All right, let me just verify what, yeah, seam allowance she uses, okay. I'm going to turn my stitch length up to about 3.5, actually 4. And we're going to stitch all the way around. Back stitching good because that's going to have a little stress there. And you'll notice that there's a little pivot point there. Just follow the pattern. And here, when we get to the corner, go as far as you can there and then pivot. That way, when we clip that, it gives us a good place to pull, and you'll see that when we turn it, to flip that bottom up. And when you get up here to the top, just go slow around all those little curves. Again, this pouch, eyeglass pouch, probably 30 minutes to make, maybe not even that once you get used to doing it. By the time you cut it out, she does, I believe she gives you SVG files for this. I actually haven't used those, but I think she does. And then pivot at that corner. And then be sure and stop where you marked it. Back stitch good. All right, so that's what it looks on the back of the cork. I am going to trim all these curves with my pinking shears. Let me grab those. Just so that we get good turn and curves. When we turn it. I just am on this, because a lot of it is curvy, I'm just going to go all the way around. Except on that straightaway at the bottom where we left open. You don't want to clip that. We need that full seam allowance. All right, get rid of my mess here. All right, so you can see that. And then right in these two corners, you need to put a little snip as close to those threads as you can without clipping those threads. That'll help make it turn, and when we go to finish it, by pulling this bottom up, you'll see how much that helps. All right, so now we're ready to turn it. And just go slow. You shouldn't have a problem if you did some good back stitching. Always looks like a hot mess when you actually are turning something like this. Another reason I leave that good size hole is I can get my whole hand in there to push out my corners. I have pretty small hands. Okay, I'm pushing out that top, push out that side. Okay, push out these bottom sides and corners, curves. Okay. You can see how that looks. Little corner push here. And there are all kinds of tools that you can purchase to use to push your corners out. I find most of the time my fingers will do the trick. All right, oops, that one just kind of folded back in, didn't it? Okay. So I'm gonna clip those just to hold it and get it used to being pushed out. So you can see my hole that I'm going to put my snap in. I have used magnetic snaps on this eyeglass case. They just are pretty strong. I almost think they're too strong for something like this. It's hard to get it off and open. Take your time on this part because this is important as far as how it's going to look in the ends. So you can see those corners because we did that tiny little snip. It came out really good. All right. All right, so there we have that open piece. And now we are going to close that. That's why we left that full seam allowance down there. We're just going to top stitch. And I'll show you once I get it. You got to fold it in and make it look pretty decent. Clip it. What's that old song? Clip it. Oh, gosh. Clip it, not clip it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to look that up now. It's gonna drive me crazy, but it's a fun little song. It reminds me of Clip It Good. All right, so there was our hole that I have folded in. And what we wanna do, let me just check this real quick. She has you sewing it in several different stages, which is actually ingenious. Yeah. So we are going to top stitch. Let me get this out of the way. Ooh, throw it away. Top stitch just from here, this corner, all the way, and close our turning hole all the way over to this end. And that is in that pattern, but it's just a 1/8 top stitch, just like you would anything else. All right, I'm going to leave that at a 4. And you will back stitch. So you're ending up top stitching, but you're also closing that hole that you use to turn the eyeglass case. All right, so you can see that. That's the top stitching. So we close that hole, and then this is just the craziest part of this whole thing. So now that these two are together, we can go ahead and put our snaps on. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need to make a little hole all the way through. So if you're not using a zipper foot, you might want to do this part at the end. I think I have a good clearance because I am using my zipper foot. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Using my little hand press. I just pressed one of my clips. That is too funny. And then on this end, because this piece is going to be up like this, the pretty side goes on the inside, and it's nice, smooth plastic, so it's not gonna mess with your glasses. That was funny. I pressed my Wonder Clip. Okay. So now, once we get this all done, that's what it's going to look like. Cute, cute, cute. All right, so now the last step is to top stitch it all the way around. Actually, that is not true. You see this fold here, right here? This fold comes up on either side like this, and clip those together because we're going to actually top stitch that first. And there is supposed to be a little pooch there in the middle. I'll show you here in a second. That's what gives the space for your eyeglasses. So you're matching the edges on both sides where that bends, where we did that little snip. And then you can put your eyeglasses in there. Isn't that ingenious? So now she has you do top stitching just on either side here. And then we'll do the top. So I'm going to do it just like the pattern. I probably would just do the whole thing at once if it was me. But I'm going to do it just like the pattern calls for. Again, 1/8 inch. Good back stitching. And go over that a couple times. Don't go over too many because you're going to create a hole in your cork or your vinyl, whatever fabric you've chosen to use. All right, so that's that side. So I just sewed from the bottom here all the way, and I did a couple back stitches right here since this is going to be getting in and out of, and I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. I'm going to have to go. The football game is on. I can hear it out there. We're almost done. Okay. So the last thing we have to do is top stitch that top part. And then we are done with this cute little eyeglass case. So that's what we have so far. Now we're just going to top stitch the rest of it all the way along. And I am going to do it from the outside just to make sure I have good stitches. Let's go slow. This is what I mean. Make sure you have a zipper foot or something that you can get past that snap without running into it. All right, we are done. Might just burn a few little places here so my stitches stay put. And we are done. Let me grab my glasses, my sunglasses, so you can see. So here's the first one we made, just in the other fabric in the cork. This is the one we just finished, and it is a snap rather than a zipper. And there it is. Isn't that cute? Let's put my glasses in it. So there's my glasses, and then you just snap it. Pretty easy. Both of these are less than 30 minutes once you get used to the pattern and how to do it. But in that cork, absolutely gorgeous. So here's the second one we did, and here's the first one. So if you want to go to jeanniebags.com, I make all kinds of items. I can create a wallet in the matching cork or do whatever you'd like. Just send me an email and we'll work on a custom request for you. But this is a nice beginner pattern for most beginner sewists. So thanks for joining. Be sure and hit subscribe and like and comment if you'd like to. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.